So there is many techniques out there that you can find either in a book or online for hand cut dovetails or power tool cut dovetails. So for this project, I decided to go with a technique that I found on YouTube under Dovetail Caddy. It's a video made by Paul Sellers, and he shows you in his video series there how to create a knife wall technique to create your dovetails. You can see me right now cutting both sides at the same time. The sides are clamped together, which is gonna make like a symmetrical look for both my sides. They're also clamped in a way that I'm gonna have the proper wood grain exposed for the left side and the right side of the box, because obviously the wood grain is different from one side to the other. What I like the most about Paul Sellers' technique is how accurate it was and how precise um, it was making all the dovetails. Also, how quick it was to remove the waste. I was just blown away how fast it was to remove the waste for like a hand tool project. At the bottom, also you can notice the tongue and groove um, assembly of the panel, the side section. See how it looks. In the next segment, you're gonna see the spacing of the tails and the pins, and the reason why they're so wide, because usually pins are smaller, is because by having those panel construct the way I've made them, some of the pins are going to be side grain, which by getting them bigger is going to allow a bit more strength to them. So the dovetails on the two sides are made up. So let's check this one here on the workbench. I put this one square with the back, so I've got a little piece underneath here that allows that little bit of a difference. I clamped up this way for the two sides, make sure it follows the workbench surface edge, and then I know that this is straight. The edge here is straight from my side. So now all I have to do is to scribe where I'm going to have my pins, because the pins are going to be coming in between the two dovetails. So let's have a closer look at that. So to align the tails, because the tails are going to be on this back piece and they're going to be sliding in between the tails, we're going to have to use a little knife. In this case, I'm going to be using this X-Acto knife to scribe a line and allow me to know exactly where I need this to be. That's going to create an extra good fit. I also want to make sure that the inside here at the back is lining up with the inside. If it sticks out a bit here at the front, like right now I probably have like it's less than a 64th, but I want this end to be sticking out because it's the inside that I want to be accurate. So I'm going to start scribing those. It's secured, so I know it's not going to be moving during the whole process. And then once those are scribed up, I'm going to be able to cut them to the proper depth and then chisel them out like I did for the tails. So another thing that we can do while we do what I previously did on my dovetail layout, I just realized that I didn't take a video of, is that this is where the joint, where the tongue and groove was, and that's something I don't want to show. I don't want this to be showing once everything's assembled. So I made sure that this dovetail, even though I kept a same distance all along, that this dovetail is hidden, and then this one here is going to be hidden as well, because it's going to be behind this one. And then I did the same for the top, so when the top is in, we won't be able to see the tongue and groove. So you can see now the scribe lines that I made. The one that I've written okay are the ones that I'm gonna keep. This is the first dry fit. With the first dry fit, I was able to figure out some areas that are tighter than other ones. All of my dovetails are very snug. So I don't want to end up breaking one. So what I'm going to do is just sand a bit of the insides, and on the pins we can actually remove a bit of the inside that's going to be hidden in the other part. So I'm going to start doing that, and then hopefully I can get those in to continue layout. So this is the back section. So those are all my pins. I'm taking a piece of sandpaper and I'm just gently sanding down, making sure I'm staying square. Then we can double check that as well. That's something, if it's not square, that might be a reason why everything is binding. So I checked the square on all of them, and then I did the sanding. The next step would be to make sure that's done on the inside though, not on the outside. And then we want to remove just the edge there of it, just to allow the pin to slide in more easily. Also, we want to leave a bit at the front, so we're not going to touch the front. And keep in mind that those pins might be a bit longer than the actual thickness of the side going in. So we're going to leave about 3/16 to 1/4. And then from there, we're just going to remove a little sliver, just to help going in. I've got the tails and the pins in to about 1/4 inch now. It's starting to get tight again, but then again it's dovetail, so it has to be tight. The issue here is, like, we don't want to get to a point that we're going to break one of the tails. So I'm using a lot of wiggle right now just to make sure it goes in. I'm about to 3/16 of a gap right now. I did get to a point that it's too tight. I've got about an 8 now, and it doesn't want to go down anymore. So instead of having the risk of breaking tail, I'm gonna end up looking where it's really tight and where I can actually make some modifications. So this one here is tight, and the gap is actually greater than the ends there, so that's an indication that the ends is sliding nice and easy, but this one here isn't. And there's that's the same one, that's both sides that I can actually fix, and I'm going to fix the tail part of it, not the pin, because the pins are nice and straight, and I don't want to work on those ones. This one is a bit tight as well. Here it's nice. Those ones are all nice. Then there's the last one here that might need a bit as well. So I'm gonna remove this side, and then I'm gonna clean those edges, and then I'm gonna try it down again. So the trick to remove those without breaking is to keep as straight as possible. If it's on an angle, that would actually create some friction, more friction than there is right now. And to gently tap all along, because we don't want one end again to come out faster than the other one. So a bit of wiggle, a bit of tapping. Just like that. And everything is intact, so we're in good shape. So I've got it to the point that right here I've got about like a 16th. Actually, this one's a 16th. That's more like a 32nd. But you can tell that all the way along, this one's actually still tight a bit. I'm gonna have to remove a bit more, but that looks pretty good. I've got another tight spot here, this one here, that I'm gonna have to fix as well. But when this one and this one are fixed, I think we're gonna be in good shape. So I'm gonna finish with this side, flip it over, and do the other side. The side isn't completely. I have a flush fit here. So I'm gonna use that opportunity to do some layout. So we know we have the tongue and groove in that top piece. That's a 1/4 inch in, so that would be here. And then I want to have a groove all along here, so so that I can put a plywood. So a 1/4 inch in, I'm going to allow another 1/4 inch, and then that's going to be the base for my groove. So I've fitted both sides with the dovetails, and everything is in and nice and snug. There's about like a little 30-second everywhere, but I need to make myself some strips that are actually going to push onto the tail, so the tail can actually go past the pin. So it's flush on the outside, but it's just I still have a bit of a gap on the inside, like, which is minimal. The next step is the lid, to make sure that it fits properly. So just with the fingers, I make sure that everything is nice and flush here on the corner, and then also the front piece. So I'll turn this around and we can have a look at that. The front piece is going to go on the assembly just like such. It's a bit lower than the lid right now because we have to remember that the lid will have dovetails as well, so it's going to go down 3/4 of an inch. Therefore this one's going to go in between the two here, 3/4 inch down from the top right now. What I have to do now is to do a layout for the ends here, for the ends there, and then push them in here and push them in on the other side. And that's going to be my my next dry fit. When that piece is in, I'll be able to match up the front and the back piece to be able to lay out all the tails that I'm going to have on those ones as well. I have the front piece all cut up. I did all my my pin openings, and now it's time to lay out the top section. So to do that, I made sure my box was square before I put the lid on by cross squaring, and then I clamp the top on, making sure that I'm nice and flush on both sides. And actually, I'm actually sticking out a bit front and back, so I'm gonna have to compensate that when I do my pins. For that, I'm gonna have to flip the whole assembly over to be able to scribe from the inside to know where my edge is on the inside. That's going to assure me that I'm going to have a perfect fit and no gaps anywhere. So first thing to do that, I need to mark myself to scribe myself some little marks on the outside to be able to line that up. So I'm going to use my square and my knife, and I'm going to just mark a line, not too deep, just enough so you can see it. And then I'll do the 4 sides. I will be able then to flip it over and clamp the assembly the same way but upside down, which is gonna allow me to do some work on the inside and do some layout on the inside. So I'll go around the whole thing and flip it over, and I'll get back to you guys. I have the box completely turned over. I lined up all of my lines, which turned out to be pretty tricky. So I've got those 4 clamps that hold everything in place, which means by lining up my lines, I'm square like I was on the other side. Now what I want to do is use my knife and mark my corners. What that's going to do is that's going to give me the distance to which, well, actually the depth of how far I have to cut my pins. And that will assure me that there's not going to be any gaps on the inside. So I'm going to start scribing those, and after that it's just a matter of relining all the sides with the marks individually, and transferring my my dovetails.